Hi, my name is Clayton Murray. I'm an athletic training student, and today I'm going to be talking about cupping and also massaging, right? What's the difference? Why would we do something like this? Very simple, right? I'll break it down to you and spare you the big science words for it. Cupping is something that you use to decompress, right? You pull tissue away instead of compressing. And what this would be used for is, let's say you got honestly anything that you could use it for, right? This is very simple, right? Just to demonstrate, you don't commonly use it on the flexors of the forearm, but I had surgery on my wrist. Boom, I got a cup there. It's pulling my tissue. It feels really good, actually. You can see this mark will get red. I have a bunch of red marks on my body because I was actually using this. But this is something that is a modality, right? A healing modality that aids in recovery, right? Really, as an athletic trainer, we use modalities to facilitate rehab workouts, right? So if you're tight and sore, these are gonna relax the tissue. They're gonna relax the nervous system to allow your body to release the tissue. You have a neurological component to muscle tightness, right? Stress, decompression will help relieve that. So essentially what this is doing is it's pulling away, it's pulling tissue away from the bone, it's creating separation, right? And it's very simple, $25 on Amazon. You can get a cupping set with everything you need in it, right? You don't need to be a licensed practitioner. I would recommend looking at it, and probably don't put the cup on things that, like your face, right? You're gonna use it for big muscle groups, have a partner help you out, grab some lubricant, like lotion, like Vaseline, rub it on the cup, put it in a circle, and just doop doop. That's all it takes, right? 2 quick pumps. Right, so I'm referencing a study. This was actually done by the International Journal of Sports Physical Therapy. And essentially they use cupping and self-myofascial release. It's a big word for like foam rolling, right? Myofascial is like the first layer of chicken. When you get a chicken breast, you got the skin layer. That's fascia, right? That's holding muscle in. When you get a chicken breast, just think of that, peeling that off. Now that neurological component is going to keep things tight. By creating friction between your body, you separate those structures, create heat, right? And that heat creates elasticity of tissue like silly putty in a microwave. So think about that, right? You foam roll out, you see a lot of people foam roll out their quads. Recommended times are about a minute, maybe 2 minutes tops, right? Because it's a neurological thing. You're not really breaking down tissue to the bone. If you're gonna do something like that, you'd be needing a mechanical tool like Graston or surgery, right? To get really thick into the layers of tissue is not necessarily necessary for healing to occur, right? So as an athletic trainer, we're gonna use these specifically, and let's say I put this cup here, I put this cup there, it's gonna create a pull of a muscle. So understanding the muscle systems would be something that we do, but you can still play with this and you can get relief on the neck. It feels wonderful. If you're more of an athlete, I'd recommend kind of the serious work or even construction, right? You need something like that. The heavy duty stuff, this is gonna feel good. You're already a little tough. But if you're an older person, maybe something like a little massage gun. You can get one of these for 60, 70 bucks on Amazon. If you look for the cheap off-brand versions, you want to go safer and get your warranty, you get a Hypervolt for 250, 300 bucks, right? Something like this, it goes up to 20, right? You get a bunch of different heads, and this is going to be another one of those myofascial releasing tools, right? More of a compressing force. And then you stimulate the muscle fibers. If you look real closely here, you can see it's just kind of like a little massage, right? You don't press too deep because that'll ruin the motor, right? But these tools they're all over the market. You're gonna see them in your Walmart stores one day. People are gonna say they do miracles. They're minor, but they do help aid in that relaxation, that recovery. Now this cup is getting pretty red. This has a little bit more, in my opinion, from my experience, compared to all 3 of these tools, it's gonna be the most aggressive, right? And you can see that physical demand that it places on the body. It's like a little hickey on the body, right? It's pretty aggressive. It's pulling tissue away. It's creating blood flow by having everything rush there, right? The oxygen's getting cut off and you're creating this little pull in the muscle. And the more you do this, the less red it gets. That's how you know that the lymphatic system is draining that area. So you'll have spots on your back that are pretty dark, and I'm just going to give you a representation of what that might look like. If you look on my body, you can see quite a few. All right? You see quite a few of those. And that was 2 days ago. So if I did that a few times, those spots will get less red and red, and as they already have. So back to this quick study here, they used cupping on hamstrings in an acute setting for 17 collegiate they were collegiate players of variant sports and different genders, but essentially they all had the same thing in common. They had tight hamstrings, decreased flexibility, and some pain. And they put the cups on there, and they had them foam roll with the heat pad, and they got about the same results. They improved their flexibility in a noticeable way that wasn't just neurological. It was actually a passive. They got to have someone else examine the flexibility, and there was an increase in tissue elasticity because of the blood flow component, because of the relaxing component, because your body's not tensing that area up because of injury. It has allowed blood flow to restore to that area. Movement, essentially. Movement creates that blood flow, just like a workout. You get a bicep pump, but you don't use that muscle and it'll atrophy. It'll go in the wrong direction. Just because you have an injury doesn't necessarily need modalities for these things, but they will help. And you need to know what you're doing. So that's why I would always reference a higher professional, right? But for these simple things at home, if you don't have that, buy a foam roller, roll out, get in the habit of doing it, right? Do it in the morning, a minute, on a really tense spot, 30 seconds to a minute, and no longer. You can sit on there as long as you want, but the advantages are usually people are busy and they don't always have the time to do that. A gun like this, you're gonna be able to buy one of these. Like I said, the price ranges, and this is also gonna aid in that fascial release system. So hopefully this was an informative video. If you want some more in-depth techniques and stuff, I can go into what's worked for me. I'm an athletic training student, and I'm soon to be graduated with an athletic training licensure, but I still have to go through that process. So I always refer to higher credibility. These are new emerging techniques, and there's no concrete evidence that's universally supported. So it's like a supplement, right? And it's not FDA approved by everything, but it does have its usages. So I would recommend looking into this. $25 on Amazon, you can buy one of these. You can buy a tool like this, 70 bucks, 100 bucks, 250, whatever you choose. I really looked and got a cheap one, and it works great for me. Came with all the heads of a hypervolt, and it's around the same power outage as one, so I got lucky. Foam roller, you can get one of these for 20 bucks, 15 bucks at Walmart, or if you're really cheap, you can use one of those little plexi wrap things, and this actually works a little better because it's hard, right? And this is really gonna sink into the tissue, but this is for more aggressive usage. So study these things, go and look up on the YouTube, but if you're really interested and you're a little bit more of a scholar, you can look up on Google Scholarly, and you can search up techniques. You can search up indications of why I would use this on a hamstring strain, right? When I would do that in the healing phase. But hopefully this is an introductory video that would open your mind to the fact that these things are out here. They're cheap. They're easy to understand when you take the time to. And they're fun to play with if you have the time. And definitely I consider that. So hopefully this was a great video for you. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. Thanks.